Hello, I'm Paul Perello, and welcome to the Philly Factor. Do you know the difference between an Allen wrench or a Phillips screwdriver holding off that home improvement project because you say you don't have the right tools to complete the project? You say your toolbox consists of a hammer and a set of pliers. Not sure how that might help you around the house, but we have an organization that indeed could help you with that home improvement project. There's a place where you could go and borrow or check out tools to complete the task, regardless of how small or how big that project might be. The West Philly Tool Library is located in a warehouse on South 47th Street, where you can find hammers, shovels, cordless drills, pry bars, weed whackers, ladders, and chop saws. I'm not quite sure what a chop saw is, but I'm sure my guest here on the program will explain what a chop saw is. There are some 3,000 tools lining every wall and available floor space in this warehouse in West Philadelphia. And I want to welcome Peter Foreman Murray to our program. He's the executive director of the West Philly Tool Library. And Peter, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So, okay, what is a chop saw?
So, well, a chop saw is another name for a miter saw.
Okay.
So it's, which I actually always called it a miter saw.
Right.
There's a couple tools like chop saw where when I started working for the tool library, discovered that everyone calls it something else, so chop saw is a common name for it.
So you're located in West Philadelphia on South 47th Street. And as I said, every available wall space, floor space is filled with tools. This is an interesting concept because, kiddingly, I said at the open of the program that, someone's toolbox at home might consist of maybe a screwdriver, a hammer, and maybe a level. See, I don't even know what a level is. That's about the extent of my experience. But are there really that many tools in the marketplace today?
To be able to have that many tools in a tool library? I mean, there's all kinds of tools, and there's a lot of specialized tools that you really only need once or twice. I mean, even be it something as simple as a table saw. You living in Philadelphia, you might not often need a table saw. They're expensive, they're large, tough to store. So we store it for you, and you can borrow it.
All right. So you're the executive director of the West Philly
I'm the executive director.
Tool Library. Explain the concept to me, because I think we're all familiar with the library where you could go and borrow a book. So is the concept based on that original concept of borrowing a book?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost exactly that model, and the basic idea is, like I said, there are lots of tools that people use very rarely, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in our opinion that everyone needs to buy their own copy of that. I mean, both for they have to spend money on it. We're creating extra tools that there's using extra resources and taking up space only to collect dust.
Sure.
So the idea is you can borrow, just like you can borrow a book, you can borrow a tool.
Okay. How does it work though? Because when you go to the free library, you could take out a book, you have a library card, which is your membership card. If you're late returning that book, you're going to be penalized, and this shows you how the last time I borrowed a book, a few pennies. It's probably more than that now, with all due respect to the free library. But so what is the incentive that someone doesn't come into the tool library, borrows a hammer, and then you never see them again?
Well, I mean, that happens every now and then, but it doesn't happen very often. So our members pay a membership fee. It's nominal. We charge between $20 and $50 a year, and we have a suggested sliding scale based on income to try to make it affordable to everyone. But so that people that can give us a little more can give us a little more. And then you can borrow tools for a week. And then we do, like the library, we charge a late fee. So we charge $1 a day per tool that you borrow. So that's incentive to bring it back. When people join, we take 2 references from them, and we actually call them and say, is this someone that you would loan your own tools to? So I think that people kind of feel people understand that they need to get tools back to us.
When they're coming in and they're only borrowing tools for a week, chances are it's going to be a small project. It might be putting together a piece of furniture or dismantling a piece of furniture. But if it's a bigger project like renovating a kitchen or maybe putting drywall up in the basement, it's going to take longer than a week. So at the end of that week, how do they renew if they need that equipment or a tool?
Sure. I mean, it's one thing that we really do is we try to stress to people to only take the tools that they're going to use this weekend, right? I mean, so renovating a kitchen is going to take a really long time, and I can attest that I just renovated my own kitchen. Right. But you don't need all the tools all the time. So we ask people to be really kind of cognizant to not just like take out all the tools that they might need, to really think about what you could actually accomplish in a weekend. We do offer renewals. We do require members to bring the tools back into the tool library because we think that kind of adds some accountability, so people aren't just kind of letting their tools, or the tool library's tools, sit at their house.
Sure.
And B, we want to make sure that we're being fair to all of the members. So the tool librarians, who are what we call the people who actually staff the tool library, make a decision on whether someone can renew based on availability. So if you want to renew a cordless drill and we have a whole shelf of cordless drills in right now, it's no big deal. But if we only have one cordless drill, we won't let you do that because someone else is going to want to have access to that.
So give me an idea. Now, I mentioned that you're the executive director of the tool library, but you're not the founder of the tool library. So this library, this organization has been around since 2008?
2007, I think is what we say. But you probably fact checked me, but yeah.
So who came up with the idea? If you're the executive director, I'm sure there were people that came up with this concept, that came up with this idea.
Sure, so we're not the original tool library. There's actually, Berkeley, California has had a tool library since the 70s, which is one of the models. And Berkeley's is really cool because Berkeley's is actually part of the public library system. So it would be like if the free library here decided to open up a tool library, which for the record we think would be awesome.
Right.
So there, so tool libraries have been around. There are other tool libraries around the country and more opening up all the time now. But basically so the way we were founded was there's a group of neighbors thought that we should have a tool library, used Berkeley as a model, and just kind of organized. They went to Clark Park. It was a couple founding board members kind of germinated the idea. They went to Clark Park during the farmers markets on Saturdays, talked to people and got a few more people interested and had a meeting. And it really was just, just that. It was a group of community members that decided we needed this and with no budget figured out how to make it happen.
And that's truly amazing given, the grassroots effort that went behind this. It goes to show you that if a few people come together with an idea, they could really blossom into something that not only benefits their local corner of the city, but do you find that there are people coming from other parts of Philadelphia to your location to borrow tools and becoming members?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we have, there is a concentration. The biggest concentration of members is closest to where we are. But we have members from all over the city. I mean, I myself don't live in West Philly, and my relationship with the tool library started as a member before I became executive director. We have people from all over the city. We have people from the suburbs. We actually had a group come down from Perth Amboy, New Jersey, one time to borrow a bunch of tools because they were doing a playground build, and we were the closest tool library they could find. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So where do the tools come from? I mean, how do you stock the shelves in the warehouse with all of these tools that members anticipate coming in and borrowing?
Right. So a lot of them are donated. A majority of the tools that we have in the tool library have been donated to us over time. And when the tool library really first started out, it was largely on donated tools. We do have to buy some tools, which is largely power tools. We get a lot of donations, but we don't get a lot of kind of really usable, in good shape power tools because they tend to wear out, and a lot of the donations we get are kind of like, people cleaning out estates or, people retiring and moving and wanting to get to have the tools go to a good home. So it's not a lot of like new modern power tools. So those we buy, but a majority of what we have are donated in the tool library.
It would, when I first saw the story in a local newspaper, and I said, "Gee, this would make for a great program." When you think of tools, you're thinking of hammers, you're thinking of screwdrivers, you're thinking of saws. But as I mentioned at the outset here, weed whackers, ladders. We don't necessarily consider a weed whacker. And I guess it's really what your perception is. Right. If you're looking to do garden work or you're looking to clean up that that mess that was your front lawn, again, it could be expensive to go and buy a weed whacker. So I mean, I guess the definition of a tool goes beyond what we think of a hammer and screwdriver.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we try to have what is useful for our members and what members are asking for. I mean, you mentioned weed whackers. Weed whackers are in season, so spring to late summer, weed whackers are our most popular tool. We don't have enough of them. We can't keep them in stock, and they go out all the time. We have lawnmowers. We have a number of neighbors who literally come in every weekend, borrow a lawnmower, mow their lawn, bring it back an hour later. Someone else borrows it, goes and mows their lawn, and that's if you can do that, why do you need to store and maintain your own lawnmower?
Sure. What's the liability on the part of the member in the case of the lawnmower, for instance? They take it out, they mow the lawn, and then the lawnmower for whatever reason, just conks out. And we're not just talking about running out of gasoline, but there's a problem now with the lawnmower. So how are they protected, or how is the tool library protected to make sure that that lawnmower is taken back, repaired, and is able to go out again?
Right. I mean, we generally make a decision on whether the member is liable or not.
Okay.
And most of the time they're not. I mean, we're talking about really heavily used tools that are going in and out. And lawnmowers, lawnmowers, we spend a lot of time maintaining lawnmowers. We have a couple of volunteers who help us with that. One in particular is really good at, coming in and getting the lawn, kind of maintaining the lawnmowers. So we don't necessarily hold members liable for breaking the lawnmower.
Sure.
I mean, when someone does something, stupid, or when someone does, or not even stupid, but when someone, it's clearly user error that breaks a tool, we ask them to compensate us for the tool. But we're fairly nice, understanding folks.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Have you had anybody come in and ask for a tool that you never either heard of before or you did not have in stock?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say both of those things.
Right.
And I think people ask for tools that I wish I could think of an example, but
Sure.
but yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, and I'm guessing they're not just coming in and asking for a hammer and a screwdriver. They might be working on some project, and it's something that you may not have heard of, or
Right.
I may not have heard of. I mean, if you found that a number of people were coming in and asking for the same tool, and that tool wasn't in stock, would that prompt the folks at the tool library then to go out and either seek a donation or acquire that tool, because more people have been, look, as more and more home improvement projects come on the scene, crown molding that was in fashion back in the 50s and 60s, all of a sudden everyone has rediscovered crown molding
Right,
again,
yeah.
and that's where the miter box and the miter saw might come into work. I don't know,
Right.
I'm just guessing. I
Yeah.
barely could hang a picture on the wall. But what I'm saying is, if there's a new tool that has arrived in the marketplace, might that eventually make its way into the tool library?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, our tool librarians do make a note of what people ask for. We have a shift log, which is basically just a Google document where the tool librarians, every shift that they work, kind of make notes, and it's where the board members and things can kind of communicate back and forth. So they record what people ask for. And if we get enough requests for something, we will consider buying it, depending on whether it's a good fit for us.
Why don't we mention the website? Because people could go there and find out more about the tool library, and also they could find out how they could become yearly members. And I think you have a lifetime membership
We do.
also? Yeah.
We have a lifetime membership.
Yeah. So what is the website?
So it's westphillytools.org.
Okay. And they can sign up for their membership right there online.
Yep,
All right.
absolutely.
And you're located, I said, on South 47th Street. Can you give us sort of a geographic
Sure.
marker?
So it's 1314 South 47th. So we're between Woodland and Grays Ferry Avenues.
Okay.
Actually, technically on the southwest. It's
Southwest.
technically Southwest Philly.
Okay.
Just over the line of Woodland Ave. So yeah, it's right over. If you're driving, we're right over the Grays Ferry Bridge.
Okay. Yep.
It's how,
Familiar with
and
it.
if you're walking, we're just, if you're familiar with West Philly, we're just southwest of Clark Park and west of University of Sciences.
Okay. And what are the hours of operation? I mean, chances are, look, some people may be working in the middle of the night and they say, oh, you know what I could really use right now? Chances are, Peter, you're not going to be there and the tool librarians aren't going to be there, but
Right.
your basic hours of operation.
So we're open Monday through Thursday evenings, which currently is 5:30 to 8:30, Monday through Thursday evenings, and then
Okay.
we're open Saturdays 9 to 3. So we're really we're designed to be convenient for people that work during the day.
Okay.
To be able to get in evenings and on Saturdays.
Okay. And and what I like about this is, and you touched upon this early in the program, is you don't have to have an extensive toolbox collection in your basement, because look, in today's world, your house may not even have a basement. That basement may have been converted to another living
Right.
room or a bedroom or a kitchen. So you don't have storage space, but yet you have a project you need to do, and you don't necessarily want to go out and spend all this money at one of the local home improvement stores. They can contact you, become a member, and whether they need those tools for one night or 3 nights or for a week, this would be, I guess, an economical way to have tools in the house and do that project that you need to do. And I think the incentive is, if you only have the tools for that week, you got to
Right.
get the project
Yeah,
done in that
exactly.
week. Yeah. What has been the feedback from the members? And I'm sure some of the founding members of the organization have really seen this project grow. So what has been the feedback? What has been the the feedback from members and people that come in and are blown away by what you have to offer.
Absolutely. I mean, people think we're great. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it was funny. I was just in the tool library Monday night, and I hadn't been in for a while. I don't actually work shifts. I do a lot of administrative stuff, kind of outside of the tool library. So I was hanging out Monday night. We were putting up some shelving with Judson, one of our tool librarians, and it's like that's when I'm reminded of how absolutely cool this project is, where members are coming in and they're like, I need to do this, and a tool library can tell you how to do it, can give you the tool. You know, and then next week we'll ask you how it went, and you can talk about it. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, people absolutely think it's an awesome project.
Yeah, and that was another question that I had is if someone is thinking of doing whether it's a simple home repair or a major project, and they don't want to necessarily, they may be one of those weekend contractors. You know, they think they can handle it. Might the folks there at the tool library offer them some advice or offer them some ideas how they could accomplish that project? Not only recommending the tools that they need, but also offer up some advice on that project.
Absolutely, yeah. Our tool librarians are really knowledgeable and really helpful with that. You know, they have different, you know, Judson is kind of has a lot of like home remodeling experience, and Kathleen has done a lot of woodworking. She built a boat by hand, a wooden boat by hand, a sailboat, which I've been really impressed with. So yeah, so absolutely, they both have lots of experience, not only from their own projects, but also from just helping people in the tool library and learning. So they're really good at it. And we're also trying, we also do some education stuff as far as we hold classes on how to use power tools, intro to plumbing, intro to basic carpentry, all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, I would think just utilizing a hammer, while it's not necessarily a no-brainer, that's probably got to be a little easier to handle than trying to use a jackhammer for the first time.
Right, exactly.
And so if you think that you're going to bust that concrete up in your driveway and pour new concrete, you really need to have, I guess, a little bit of either experience or a little bit of training on how to handle that tool.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And we should mention the website, because I know I asked what the website was, and I went off on another tangent and asked the question. So what is the website?
So it's westphillytools.org.
Okay.
And like I said, you can sign up for a membership. You can actually view all of our tools there.
Okay.
And you can not only see what we have, but you can see whether it's in or whether it's out, and if it's checked out, when it's due.
Okay. But can you make a reservation online for that
You
tool?
cannot. We actually don't take reservations for
Okay.
tools.
All right.
It's first come, first served. Usually if there's something you need, you can call the tool librarian that day, and if it's in, they'll be nice enough to put it aside for you for that shift. But we don't take reservations.
But it's good that you could go and see if, in fact, that tool is in stock. It's there. That if you wanted it for tonight and it's there,
Absolutely.
That they'll put it aside for you to come in and pick it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, is this the only type of organization or tool library in Philadelphia, or are there other organizations you might be aware of? I mean, the concept seems new, but as you said, in California at Berkeley, they've been doing this since the 70s.
Right.
Why is it everything happens on the West Coast first
Exactly,
and then
right.
finally gets to the East Coast?
Yeah.
To me, it's a fascinating concept, and one that you would think that there would not be many of these type of tool libraries around. But
Right.
are there any other organizations?
There are no other tool libraries in Philadelphia. We'd love to see more tool libraries, and I talk to a lot of people a lot of the time who want to, or think it would be a great idea to open a tool library, and we'd love to support people, with knowledge and probably with some extra tools.
Sure.
If people want to open them in other neighborhoods. But as far as we know, there are not other tool libraries in Philadelphia.
So if a person watching this program right now is settling an estate, and Uncle Joe had tons of tools in the basement, and the family doesn't want them. I mean, there are just so many hammers that you can give out to family members. If they wanted to donate them to the tool library, you would be receptive to. If they contacted you and said, "Hey, we have these tools. You're more than welcome, to take them in if you want." I mean, is
Absolutely. Yeah. We generally don't turn away a tool donation. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so it's tax deductible tool donations to us. And at this point, a lot of the tool donations we get, we don't actually need to put into inventory. A lot do get put in the inventory, but we don't need any more hammers.
Sure. That was going to say,
right.
what is the number one, the number one tool that you probably have more than
Right,
you
exactly.
really...
Yeah, we don't need more hammers. So what we do is a couple times a year we hold what's basically a big garage sale.
Okay.
And we just had one about a week and a half ago where we sell tools for a good price that we just don't need to put into inventory and raise a little bit of money for the tool library, which we use to buy tools that we do need, those newer power tools, and to literally like keep our lights and the heat and internet on in the tool library.
That's again, the tool library is located in Southwest Philadelphia, right there on the line between West Philly and Southwest Philadelphia on South 47th Street. And the website we've been putting up on the screen throughout the program. What has been, at least from your perspective, I guess the #1 requested tool that people are looking to borrow?
I mean, it depends on the season. I mentioned the weed whackers are really popular in the summer. Hammer drills, we never have enough hammer drills, which is because of all the masonry construction in Philadelphia. If you want to hang anything, you need a hammer drill. So those are huge. There are a couple tools that we intentionally don't have that people want all the time, like a floor sander. People ask us for floor sanders all the time. They're expensive and hard to maintain, and you can rent one fairly affordably from various places in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And chainsaws. People ask for chainsaws, and we don't have chainsaws. So there's a couple that get asked for that we don't have.
Now, with floor sanders, I'm suspecting just like the crown molding that was popular back in the 50s and 60s, is it because of the, people are pulling up the carpeting on their floors now and they're looking and they're saying, wow, we didn't realize that we have really nice hardwood floors under this carpeting.
Yeah. I think so. It's just a lot of, most of Philadelphia was built with floor, with hardwood floors, or with old pine floors. A lot of people are refinishing the old, what I think was originally intended to be subflooring, but is gorgeous old yellow pine. So people are doing that.
You mentioned the project that you did at your house. You worked extensively on a kitchen project. So, did you happen to borrow tools from the tool library? Or
I borrow tools from the tool library all the time, and I have the advantage of having a key, so I can grab things as I need them. But absolutely, I mean, the tool library renovated my kitchen.
Yeah, that's good to know. And I guess there's a tremendous appreciation of tools that come with this because look, sometimes people will use they'll try to hang a picture. And they'll use a hammer, but they're not necessarily using a nail. They may use, oh, well, this will do, and they, bang it into the wall. And so you really should have an appreciation for the tool that you're using and what you're trying to accomplish, not to say that, all the tools, all tools are the same. If you're going to use a hammer to bang in the nail, or if you're trying to take a screw out of, a wall, you don't want to necessarily use the back end of that hammer to pull out the screw. You want to use a screwdriver. So I guess there's a little bit of a learning curve that everybody could stand to afford in learning and respecting tools.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think that, a big part of the value that we bring to the community is the knowledge that we have. And, and it's a place where you can go and talk to the tool librarians who are really knowledgeable. You can talk to other members. We welcome people to just come and hang out. I mean, if you're in it all handy or even mildly into tools and things, like it's a cool place to be.
Yeah, and one doesn't necessarily need to have experience in building a boat or building a house or renovating a kitchen to come out to the tool library. And again, I want to just in the few minutes that we have here. Remind people that they could go online, they could become a member online. They can go into the tool library to actually pick up the tool that they're looking to borrow. And if they find themselves at a loss for how to proceed on a project, look, all they have to do is ask one of the tool librarians or somebody else that's there. That person might be able to help them out on their home improvement project.
Absolutely.
Do you find that it's mostly homeowners in Philadelphia that are doing those small projects, or do you see some contractors that are coming in because they need a piece of equipment that they don't necessarily have?
We do. We get some contractors. I think generally kind of like well-established contractors have a lot of their own tools. We get a lot of people who are doing odd jobs and kind of, are getting started as a contractor. We had we have a member that we were just kind of doing some member testimonials one day, and we had a member come in who works in construction and is able to actually take on jobs that he couldn't do before because he can't afford the tools, and we have the tools. So that was, it's pretty rewarding to see that happening.
Yeah. So as you look back now, you as the executive director, and I guess maybe even some of those founding members, when you look back at where the organization was at its founding and where it is now, there's been, I guess, a lot of growth. Where do you see this going? I mean, what's, as you look forward into the next, few years, I mean, where do you see the tool library going?
Right. I mean, we continue to grow. I mean, we're continuing to grow as far as membership. We're really growing at an awesome rate. I mean, last year we increased our number of members by like 23%,
Wow.
And the number of actual loans in a similar amount. Which is great. So we just hope to continue to grow, to reach other parts of the city. We also plan to expand our education. I mean, I think it's really important to us that we're really teaching people, not only giving people the tools that they need, but actually empowering them by teaching them how to actually use the tools to improve their homes and to improve their neighborhoods.
And whether you're looking for a yearly membership or a lifetime membership, look, I think at a number of points during one person's life, you need a hammer, you need your screwdrivers, you may need a weed whacker, whatever. So if you're, for the investment, you might want to go with the lifetime membership and know that regardless if you use them, 52 weeks out of the year or, for the next 52 years, that lifetime membership is really going to benefit.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a good value. It's also, by becoming a lifetime member, you're really investing in the tool library. I mean, we're a nonprofit. We only recover a little bit more than half of our costs from membership fees. So by becoming a lifetime membership, you're really empowering us to continue to do the work that we're doing.
Well, I want to applaud you for a great job, a great organization, and you can check them out online. I want to thank Peter for being with us. Peter Foreman Murray is the Executive Director of the West Philly Tool Library, and I want to thank you for being with us here on the program.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Until the next time, my name is Paul Perella. Thanks so much for being with us here on the Philly Factor.